Texas's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, a Republican. No surprise, it is Texas, but it's becoming more blue, and then you got things like voter suppression. But anyways, I digress. So their Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, he went on the Tucker Carlson show on Fox News, and I mean it was somewhat surprising, but also really disturbing what he's saying out loud. You know, people like Trump and you really just really conservative Republican politicians, people like that have some really obviously backwards views in a lot of ways. And so Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Texas, was saying that, we got to be really worried about the economy right now. We don't want to wreck it for future generations. So old people, grandparents, elderly folks, people that these older generations just basically gotta suck up and die, be okay with dying off in massive numbers because the economy, the market's more important than older people living and dying, and obviously that's hugely disgusting and disturbing, putting the market or the economy above people's lives. And again, the elderly folks, the older folks, are one of the groups that looks like is most negatively impacted by this coronavirus pandemic. But he's saying no, doesn't really matter. The economy, this money, this imaginary things moving around, the market, the stock market, that's actually more important than Grandpa Joe or your Uncle Ed or your great grandma Florence or whatever. They can die, and maybe we can cremate them and give some type of sacrifice to the almighty market, because that's what really matters. All praise to the market, to the economy, to my Wall Street overlords. That's basically what this Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, was saying, and it's just hugely disgusting. And just talking about how it's really important to get back to work. Like, no, that's actually not what's important here, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick of Texas. What is important here is taking care of people, being concerned about humanity, empathizing. We're all in this together, coming together, finding ways to help each other out, to protect these older folks so we don't, potentially expose them to this virus and so they don't die. Protecting the market and the economy is not important. Protecting people's lives, making sure that, we give them, unemployment insurance, emergency UBI, universal health care, canceling student loan debt, moratoriums on, evictions and foreclosures, rent freezes, mortgage freezes. Those are actually some potential solutions and policy ideas here that make sense to help people and to keep people from dying. It's not about the market or protecting the economy. It needs to be focused on helping people. But again, capitalism is all about putting profits before people, and what this Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, is just echoing that capitalistic ethos, money above everything else. If it's people's lives, if it's the environment, if it's your own family, profit, the motive, the economy comes first. Even if we gotta, kill off all the older people in the U.S., that doesn't matter. We gotta get people back to work. We gotta keep enriching the 1% and these huge, massive corporations and the military industrial complex and the prison industrial complex, school to prison pipeline, etc., etc. So I mean, it just really gives a really clear picture into the ideology that infects a huge percentage of the Republican Party, as well as Democrats, the corporate Democrats, to a lesser extent, where they're literally going on this, nationally syndicated show, Tucker Carlson show on Fox News, is saying that, I'm okay with older people dying, with grandparents dying. I'm a grandparent. It doesn't really matter. We got to put people back to work. It's just, just how disgusting and immoral is our current capitalist, economy, where you have lieutenant governor of, a massive state, Texas, going on, this huge platform and saying he's okay with people dying because we got to get people back to work. And it's just truly disgusting and depraved on every level, that you would have this lieutenant governor going out there saying that the older people should die, that it's okay if grandparents die because they don't want to ruin the economy for the younger generations. And it's just, people again need to start waking up and actually, when they do vote for candidates, vote for people, I guess, if they're running, that actually care about people, that put people's interests and needs before the almighty dollar. Because we see what, putting profit above people has done. It's got us into this pandemic in the first place by, Trump, cutting back the CDC, cutting back the budget, cutting back the pandemic experts that were there, not wanting to test more people with the test kits that the WHO offered because he thought it would hurt his re-election chances, and so on, to our, for-profit healthcare system, to how this profit motive is totally just destroying our planet. Kind of important to have a inhabitable planet for our generation and future generations. And so what, Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, was just, taking that narrative one step further, and, basically, saying stuff that's obviously being said behind closed doors with a lot of these, powerful people in government and outside of it, that are more concerned about how are they going to pad their bottom line than they are about actually helping people in the most vulnerable and marginalized get through this pandemic. It's obviously clear that we need to transition away from this capitalist economy and ethos and ideology, because we need to adopt a system that puts people first, that puts the environment first, that puts economic, racial, and environmental justice first. Because it's clear, if we don't make that transition and we don't make it soon, the planet's going to kick us off, and we're going to keep experiencing pandemics like this. So it's really, a wake-up point that we all need to take seriously and try to do our small part to try to get us towards a new vision and a new path that will help us work with each other, work with the planet, to actually come up with some solutions that work for everybody, and not just the capitalist class who is okay with literally people dying off, older folks and the vulnerable folks dying off, so people can get back to work to feed that insatiable greed that capitalism creates. It's nuts. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours in the comment sections down below. Peace.